Let me make sure I comment on that.
Got my setup all fucked up. I'm trying to be a fat boy and do real talks, schoolwork.
Bucky Bucks.
See how many people
Down D
remember.
West ain't playing. Hey, my boy.
My boy D West on. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row.
2 in a row. D Wiggity. D Wiggity ain't missing this shit. He said I gotta give up that second. No sir, I'm on everything smoking. Everything smoking. Won't be missing this one. Shit. Let's get it.
He met her already left.
Right? All he did was tune in to type his name in the chat and then roll. He better hope he liked that video. You don't like that, bitch. Super Bowl Sunday. Next group. Put that thing in that chat soon. Let's get it. We in there. I think everywhere now. Super Bowl Sunday, that Game of Thrones music gotta be different. Season 8, when that motherfucking Ice King came through, tearing shit up. Bingo was his name, man. I'ma say it like this. Richard, Chief Nation in the building. My boy Rich in the building too. That like button. Let me know you on here. You know what I'm talking about? That like button. Make sure you got that proof. That screenshot is needed. You watch all 3 of the episodes. I will come through and send Santa Claus through your chimney and motherfucking hop him in your little game console real fast and go to your team and do something for you. You know what I'm talking about? I heard Patrick Mahomes is on the block. Is this true, Richard? Tell these motherfuckers how much of a die-hard Chief fan you is, and Mahomes ain't going nowhere. Tell them you the nigga that trade. If you don't got the Chiefs, you trade for Tyreek Hill when he's 35. Fuck these niggas talking about, huh? What they talking about, huh? And this scary music, man. We got a rematch of a Super Bowl of 2022. And the Cardinals came through and crushed the building in their building. Simple as that. I mean, everything is on the line right now, man. You got the #1 offense versus the #2 offense. You got 2 top 10 defenses showing up. You got young players running around here, diaper dandies ready to make their names known. You got guys that know a Super Bowl ring could change their lives. And I'm talking about, you got guys that their brand itself builds differently and separates them pay grade wise for other players in the league right now. Guys that go down in history. Somebody's quarterback is going down in history as either one or 2 things: winning the Super Bowl for the first time and Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray putting his name in a hat with those guys that won multiple Super Bowls, especially back-to-backs. You got a 95 overall team versus a 96 overall team right now. You got teams who got green arrows pointing up right now, from the winning success to the meeting their goals and hitting those scenarios. Defensively, you got a team that's built 96 overall in the Baltimore Ravens, 95 overall in the Arizona Cardinals. Offensively, Lamar Jackson goes into this game with his offense at a 97. And Kyler Murray takes his 96 overall with the mind of Peyton Manning as the offensive coordinator. You got the black and blue football team that comes out of that black and blue division. That blue collar, hard-nosed, ball-out football team that just beats you up. Whether they running the football down your throat, woo babying you to death, doing it from Lamar flinging from the pocket or running around with his legs. And Kyler Murray saying, I run just like you, Lamar. I have that same talent with my legs, buddy. You don't know they call us the Fast and Furious Raid? What that Fury stand for, boy? Let your defense fall asleep on me trying to cover my entire wide receiver group and see what happens. What are you talking about? They don't question me as a passer in this league, Lamar Jackson. They question you as a thrower. You're the one labeled a running back with an arm. I'm labeled a quarterback with legs. It's a difference. I'm talking about the battle is real right now, man. You're talking about a guy like Sean Wade and a cornerback like Anthony Israel and Lamar Sturdivant and Martin Johnson going up against a Sheldon Ward, Rondell Moore, Isabella, King James. You got Ray Lewis's son on the field. Baby Ray at the middle linebacker spot has to show up and show off more than a guy like Isaiah Simmons, who won the Defensive Player of the Year award in the NFC. I mean, the matchup screams talent everywhere. The matchup screams who's the better team, who's going to come today and show up who they are, who the hell can play their style of football and win that ball game, or do they have to scheme? Who's the better coach? You got the GOAT Falk going up against Jim and John Harbaugh. The reason why I say Jim is because Jim is helping him right now. Trust that. He's texting him, telling him what the fuck to do, all types of shit. But what we do know is we got a coach that players play for. Simple as that. When it comes down to Baltimore, I don't know where this game played at. I wish we can know. Las Vegas, So we're going to Las Vegas for the game right now. I mean, big time players make big time plays in big time moments. That's all that matters to me. And I'm talking about all that matters to me. And hits the franchise Google Real Talk episode 6. I think we all on. I don't know if I titled that wrong. It could be possibly episode 7. I don't care. All I know is I got the best co-host in the world sitting right here waiting to dig deep and talk about what the hell's going on. You know how we do our Real Talk shows. We talk about matchups in the playoffs. We talk about the teams that got there, how they got there. We talk about what else? We debate things right now. Where he think he's 4-0 right now, and it's clearly 3-1. So we're gonna debate. We're gonna talk that shit. Here he go again. He is 4-0. He ain't not 4-0 with that bullshit nursery rhymes he had last night. Nothing's doing. We won that debate. 3 and wiggity. That's what you are. You 3 and wiggity. He 3 and wiggity right now. And who knows if he's really 3 and wiggity right now, or did I just let him win a couple of them things? I'm not sure. 4-0. But I know this man isn't 4-0. That's what we do know.
Definitely 4-0.
I also want to know how y'all feel about the debate segments, man. Do y'all think that is good for the podcast show, the debate segments and shit? Are y'all enjoying them, man? Do you think we come with complete facts, along with opinions and shit? Are we doing a good job with the podcast shows? Those that do pay attention, that are here paying attention to what we got going on. We also gotta continue to talk about the fact that our first season in King Madden, we crowned the Browns and Top Tier Craig as a Super Bowl champion right now. Good shit.
Appreciate it.
Listen, man, we go back to the league started 3 seasons ago, and we've had the Bears win the Super Bowl. We had the Cardinals win the Super Bowl, and right now the NFC is happy. They think they're the dominant conference, and we will give them their kudos to that as being a dominant conference right now. And can the Baltimore Ravens get the AFC over that hump and win them a ball game in this game right now, man? There's all types of things you better talk about. You got Pro Bowl players that will not be playing in the Pro Bowl all over these rosters right now. When you look at the matchups offensively and defensively, you got position groups that you could talk about as a whole. You got individual players you could talk about a whole. You're about to face the number 1 quarterback is about to face the number 1 quarterback in the duel. Even though Lamar will tell you, I'm not playing against Kyler Murray, I'm playing against the Cardinals defense. It's still the number 1 quarterback versus the number 1 running quarterback. Then you got arguably one of the best youngest running backs in the league, and Casey Fields going up against a kid that played for the Baltimore Ravens year 1 and got traded because of that running back, Casey Fields. Tyson Williams got a lot to play for in this game. He wants to show his old team that they made the wrong decision. Simple as that. He was already quoted on saying, Baltimore traded me after the year I had. They went with another running back, and they made the worst decision of their life. And as long as I'm playing football, I will make them pay for it. And they did. He already won the first Super Bowl matchup against these two teams, and he did it. he did a good job in that Super Bowl. So it looks like he's trying to do it again right now. Simple as that. You got the same type of receivers running around. I would say a Rashad Bateman and a Sheldon Ward kind of are, those type of guys that look kind of similar. And even though Ward is a little bit taller, but then you got Rondell Moore, Hollywood Brown, Pooh Hanna, Isabella. You got the tight ends Wesley and King James. Offensive lines, defensive lines. The Cardinals got superstars and X factors all over that defensive line. The Ravens, superstar and X factors all over that defensive line. Whose linebacker core is better? It's just so many questions and so many situations you can answer to build up to this ball game, man. Simple as that. I think we are going to be in for a show tonight. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's not a one-sided game. Hopefully these two teams come out and give y'all everything that is worth to be able to watch a 10 o'clock game tonight with the Baltimore Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals.
Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over until we forget that it's a lie.
So Guns, talk to me, my boy. You think about the Super Bowl that's about to be played tonight, man. What comes to your mind? Where we at with this? What's going on with this this matchup, Arizona Cardinals?
Let's go with the obvious. It's not the battle of number ones, but this is because for me to say number ones would be taken away from the other two competitors that were there. I wouldn't dare do that. But these two teams, these two coaches, they have a long rival history. Coming from under similar coaches trees. They know each other. They know what the offense is going to do before the offense runs it. They know what the defense is going to do. So it's all about adjustments. It's all about the last few pages of the playbook that doesn't go out for any other team. Holding on to certain things, holding on to certain formations. So really, when you know each other, then it's all about the I don't want to call it the trickery, but it's all about the different adjustments that other coach is not used to seeing.
This is a on the fly adjustment game, man. These two teams will adjust on the fly. They really do it at a high level, man. And I think you're right. This game is going to come down to that. Who makes the right adjustments and understand, at the end of the day, these two teams are familiar with each other. These two coaches are familiar with each other. So it is who brings out some shit that somebody never seen before out of these two, and who can come up with a scheme. We call it mini schemes. Who can come up with those mini schemes in a drive where they come out on one formation and they're able to run multiple plays out of that formation, and the other team has to figure out a way to cancel that out for the next drive. Like they might go up the field in one formation and put an 8 to 12 play drive together, and then come out with that same formation next time they on offense, and that defense better be prepared to better figure something out while their offense is on the field, figure something out defensively to counter that shit the next time they got to see it. A lot of that will take place in this game. A lot of that, like these two teams will be adjusting on the fly. And I do think this is going to be a game where it's going to have to be somebody individually stepping up, some step-up situations from a position that we're not expecting, to have to really, come into this game and really be the X factor of the game right now. We've seen Tyson Williams do it throughout the entire playoffs, where where this team is the number one passing offense in the league, but they come out and show you their fury as part of their offense, which is the ground game. And Tyson has done his job as a running back right now. So, I think on the other side, what receiver or what other player outside of Casey Fields in his run game can do some things to kind of throw the Cardinals off. in a sense. Can Camden Man step up? Can Lamar Jackson do it with his legs as well as his arm? All these are the questions. Or is it going to be a receiver like a Puhana or Rashad Bateman that can actually, give the other team a problem? When you look at their offensive ranks, you're looking at the number 2 offense versus the number 1 offense. Arizona Cardinals 2, Baltimore 1. When you look at the passing touchdowns, you are looking at the number 1 team and 98 touchdowns from the Cardinals, and the number 2, 84 for the Baltimore Ravens. When it comes down to rushing touchdowns, the Baltimore Ravens are number 3 on this list, and I bet money on this. If anybody can tell me who's calling me right now, we will motherfucking get through it. Is it Mom Dukes? No, it's not Mom Dukes this time. Y'all lost. It really wasn't. Hold on though, but this is important. I ain't answering the call. I just got to talk to him, tell him something. Hold on. That wasn't though. Oh my God, it's my cousin.
Can't trust him.
We don't have confirmation. That could have been Dukes.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
It wasn't. Watch this. So just so I can prove it to y'all, it wasn't Mon Dukes. I'm gonna show y'all it wasn't Mon Dukes. Watch this.
We don't have no visual video.
They like, fuck that, I need mine. You want to put a bet out there? You want to put something out there? I'm gonna bet out there, huh? Watch this. Watch this. Mon, did you just call me? No, but
I want my gift.
you on a podcast show right now. And they think I'm lying when I said
plausible deniability.
All right, I'm about to show you. All right, I just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna screenshot and send it to y'all who called me. Was you sleep? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up. I'll call you right back, Mama.
Now she gonna call you.
No, she not. I'm about to just shut all that up and send Craig my call log and see who I just ignored, and then that's gonna shut y'all up. And then Craig, out loud, I want you to say who it was that I ignored and didn't pick up. Just say the name. That's all. Hold on. So I know. Nah, you know I'm a man of my word, fellas. I ain't gonna sit here and tell y'all no bullshit. There go the call log, Craig. Who just called? Now remember, the top call is the one I just made, FaceTime video. But who just called me before that? I ain't edited shit.
Your mom did call. It's like, no, it was some drag.
Yep, drag. Y'all know. You ever heard me like fucking drag? He just hit me back. Okay, fucking drag. All right, so here we go. Let's get back into the conversation of what's going on right now. So Guns, again, I want to know this, bro. I want to know one question, and this is the topic that starts off our show, actually, before we start to dig into shit. Super Bowl Sunday, the preparation is our first topic on our segment, right? Super Bowl Sunday, the preparation. So what are we asking for? Like, what conversation are we getting into when we think about preparation of these two teams?
Well, I mean, at this point, there's not a lot of there's not much coaching that needs to be done at this point. At this point, the message to the room is focus.
Right.
Season's almost over. You know where you're supposed to be. You know your assignments. You know your responsibilities. Is do your job. And focus. The most of it was resting the mind, healing the body. Because like you go through a grueling season. A lot of these guys are beat up. They're tired. So at this point, there's nothing physical that you want to do to the team. There's no more playbook learning. Now you just need them to focus and heal as much as possible, So the message for today is just let's finish.
When you look at preparation, man, there's no better preparation than preparing for games by playing in big time games. We talked about this yesterday when we talked about the 14 that were remaining and that what they had to do. But if you ignore the regular season and what they went through, and you just talk about the two games, I want to know a two-part question for you, Guns. I want to know two things. The Arizona Cardinals had to play the Giants in the divisional round, and they won that game 35-34, but before that they won a 52-10 game versus the young Cowboys team. Then in the divisional round they won by a point. Then they get to the NFC Championship and they won a 38-28 game. Now you watch both of these games and how brutal both these games were, because they both gave us shows. When I'm saying shows, that means it was back and forth. Was it hard-nosed football though? Was it like, you know what I'm saying? Was it like that in the AFC North division, real life, how the, Baltimore Ravens versus Steelers type games, like those big games where, guys are coming out and they got to ice up, all types of things happen in those games. So my question is, playing those close games, um, does this prep them for the Super Bowl to be able to come out of two games like that?
Um, Absolutely. To the strong-minded, you're continuing to be sharp. For the weak-minded, or for those third, fourth tier players, they're like I said, they're tired. So what you have to do is, as a coaching staff, you got to elevate those guys. Because you have your hard-nosed veterans, you have those guys that are always prepared. They're prepared for this big game. Now you got to turn around to the other guys that may have not been there before, or may have not come from winning programs. A lot of these guys, they've not played these many games before. Coming out of college, so now is preparing their mind over the matter.
Right.
So their mind over their bodies, and getting them prepared for this game.
Then coming off these 2 weeks of brutal football, like they had to play really good football. They had to be on their P's and Q's the entire time they played both these two teams. Does the 2 week layoff, being able to pretty much not play the Super Bowl the following week, but to get 2 weeks to get prepared for the Super Bowl, does that really heal their mind? Does that really heal what they went through those two tough games? Like, are they able to reset in those 2 weeks, or do you think the long haul of their regular season plus those two brutal games is really a lot to be able to go into that Super Bowl with?
Well, most teams are ready to get that game over with, and they want to get past, because you have 1 week of just you and the paparazzi, basically.
Right.
So
right.
You got Radio Row all week. You're doing interviews and stuff like that, and those are things that for the past 18 weeks, 18 plus weeks, because now we're in the 20s as far as how many games that you played. You outside of your bye week, you're not used to this. Even during the bye week, you don't have that much paparazzi. So you're ready to get past this. You're ready to get this game. I don't want to necessarily say over with. You're ready to get it on, basically.
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. Definitely, I would say the same thing. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens won their first divisional week round 63-27. They played the Chargers, a very, very good football team that ended up losing the game off of a fluke turnover, man. And they can take the morale from a team right away off of a tip ball at the line of scrimmage on one side of the field, flies over to the other side, and another defensive end picks it off. Series like that. And then the Ravens looked like they were in a comfortable game against the Broncos, and then in that fourth quarter, the Broncos turned that game around and made it a one-score game with 10 seconds left for the Ravens to pull out 31-24 after receiving a onside kick and getting it. They come out. Do you feel as though they were tested as much as the Cardinals were tested in those two playoff games?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, neither team got a chance to relax. It was almost as soon as you felt like even when the Cardinals had a double-digit lead and it was down to, I believe it was like 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Next thing you know, Buccaneers turn around and score quickly, so that lead evaporated.
Right.
Just that fast. So, they quickly said, "Oh no, not so fast."
Not so fast, my friend.
So neither team had a chance to relax, and it was almost the same way. Well, not almost. It was the same way even with the Baltimore game.
Yes,
next
sir.
thing you know, just when you think that you have an opportunity to feel comfortable, it was one turnover. The momentum shifted. The other team was like, "Look, let's one more for the Gipper. We're gonna give everything we got."
And I honestly think they had another drive. They fuck around, tied the ball game up, and we looking at a different situation. Like, they really turned this whole game around. That's how big momentum is, bottom line. Momentum swing, bro. If you are a coach that can capture that momentum, you're going to succeed through it. If you're a coach that can't fight back off that momentum, you're going to have a problem. Simple as that. We come out of that 31-24 ball game, and that over here you come out of the 38-28 ball game. And let's be real, this was a 3-point game that walk-off home run pretty much on a grab your nuts 4th and 1. The Cardinals ran off tackle, and Tyson Williams, Mr. Tyson Playoff Williams, showed up, took something to the crib, 70-something yards. But this game was off the hook the entire time. It kept you off your seat. There's no way you got to sit down and got comfortable. You literally had to tell your wife, leave me the fuck alone. Go talk to your sister or something while I'm watching this game. Like, it was that good. And then, both these teams slide back in. And what we saw was we almost had a perfect picture of a playoff where you had the 1 versus 2 seed on both sides, but now you're watching a 1 versus 2 seed play with the loss of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You are watching the Baltimore Ravens and Arizona Cardinals. The Baltimore Ravens in Las Vegas will be the home team. Do you think they're going to travel and their fans travel well enough for them to have home field advantage, or do you think it's too close to Arizona?
Oh, no. I mean, it's definitely close to Arizona. So you would think that it would be a home game for the Cardinals, but trust me, when I know this for a fact that Ravens fans, they travel well. So you will see a lot of purple at that game, but I still expect to see more red and white than I do black and purple.
Man, I definitely, the both times they played this team, the home field was on the Cardinals side. They got to win the Super Bowl in their stadium. And now they're playing right outside of their stadium where guys can drive to the game versus having to take a flight. But we know it was a lot of tickets. I mean, Lamar Jackson had 78 tickets he gave out. And only Lamar can get 78 tickets from his owner. But he had 78, and it was arguing with Casey Fields because he almost sent out 70 of them himself. So guys are coming. They're coming to this game, and they're going to be there. But when you talk about the Arizona Cardinals and you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, we talk about matchups with two coaches that are pretty good coaches, man. We talk about matchups. So Guns, what does matchups mean to you with these two teams?
Well, when you look at the matchups, these are teams that are kind of evenly matched. When you start looking at the amount of, the only clear advantage that I see in the matchup is across the board the speed of the Arizona wide receivers. When you start lining them up one versus the other, they're slightly faster. Baltimore has the more physical receivers, even though they do have Hollywood as a complete burner, but everything else, I want to say they're almost evenly matched across the board. And I know a lot of people will want to say, well, you really think that they're even as far as the tight end position? I say yes. It's just because one is featured more, it doesn't mean that one is more talented than the other. So I think these teams are evenly matched. It's going to come down to coaching and adjusting.
I mean, this is going to be a track field game. Their fastest receivers, their top three are 97, 98, 97, 97, 99, 98. They are flying, right? Green arrows up, so they're getting their coaching staff points in, and they're meeting their goals and scenarios. So they're going to come into this game with pluses next to them. Both teams will have plus 10 break tackles, and because of that, I think the run game will be featured for both teams. You're going to have play rec tackling plus 10 as well. So they're going to try to take advantage of that. But when you look at the speed of the Arizona Cardinals at the receiver position and at the tight end position, with King James being an 88 speed, 94 XL, very good speed, up to a 97 with that green arrow up. He's a true 93, so he's up plus 4 right now coming into this game. I look at these guys, right, and then I look at the Baltimore Ravens, and I ask myself, not just talent across the board and overall, but just speed itself in this game. When you go back to the Baltimore Ravens defensively, I do think they match up speed-wise, corners to receivers over there. And I think this is a matchup that's going to be important right now. When you're looking at the receivers, I mean, AI is a 98, 99, and Lamar Sturtevant 96, 96. Then you got Martin with 93, 93 in his rookie year, and Sean Wade, who had maybe one of the better seasons of a DB, all our disc over here, and he's going to draw attention to a guy like Sheldon Ward more than he will be playing on a Rondell Moore. How do you like that matchup, Sean Wade versus Sheldon Ward?
Well, I really didn't. This is one of those times where I didn't do homework on that matchup because I was not sure whether they were gonna match up or whether they just gonna play their position no matter who's lined up against them.
Gonna get a little bit of both.
Okay, so with that being said, I went under the assumption that the Ravens going to do what the Ravens always do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't shadow anybody. They show up. Whoever lines up in front of them is mano y mano.
Right, and you're gonna have a whole lot of that.
So I I didn't think about one-on-one matchups. So since we're going to get a mixed bag, you got one of the better route running receivers, against one of the best, defenders. The interceptions is not what you want to pay attention to. Is actually, the batted passes. So it's like there are times where he looks like when we talk about Wade, looks like he's out of position. Next thing you know, he recovers quickly. May not always be enough to pick the ball up, but it's always enough to knock the pass down. And I know that is just as frustrating to a receiver, to the quarterback, to the offense as a whole. When everything just gets swatted.
Right. I don't think there's a DB group in the league that can absolutely, it's almost like the Bucks. You're not stopping that run game. You can slow it down, but you're not going to stop it. But I thought if it was a defensive back group from, corner, safeties, and the linebacker play, I do think this Ravens team match up with the Cardinals team in their what they do best in their fast and raid part of their offense. Throwing the football. These guys threw the football at a high level.
Yeah, I don't even know high level even gives it justice with 7,000 yards passing. So yeah,
it's impossible to stop that shit, bro. That's a lot of passing yards. Hold on for 2 seconds. Go ahead, hold me down, Scott.
All right, yeah, like we were saying, 7,000 yards. I mean, from the first time that I saw it to the next couple of times that we talked about it, I still get tongue-tied every single time that I look at those stats. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. There's a part of me that says, hey, if I'm just gonna take a little shot real quick. If the NFC was all that, why'd y'all allow all them yards? I'm just like, how did this happen? Who let that happen? So it's just one of those things where you're just so thrown off and you're just so amazed. You just wondering like how you just start blaming everybody. Like I said, I'm not taking a shot because I know they play AFC teams. Also, you just don't know where these yards came from. So that's an absolutely unbelievable season.
Probably not.
I don't think it'll be.
Right.
I don't think a season like that can be duplicated. So I really want to, congratulate that team for a feat that I don't think that we'll see again.
But Guns, do they come in here and this? I don't want to jump from our topics because we got it lined up and ordered right. But like you can't duplicate, like you said, you can't duplicate a season that the Cardinals had this year, bro. But can they come into this Ravens game against the Ravens and be successful in what they were successful with all year long? Or do they have to go through the same recipe of, allowing Tyson to show up in the furious part of their offense to be to take his course and win them this ball game? Like, are they going to better line up and fling that thing all over the park and let those 2,000-yard receivers all over the field with a 1,500 or 1,100-yard tight end and just go dummies and let them play and do what they do?
The one thing that I would caution this team on, or any team that's going up against this Baltimore Ravens secondary, is if you're coming in and your offense is trying to tell the story versus allowing the game to tell the story. And I don't know how many people follow me when I say that, but if you come in and you try to bend that secondary to your will, you're gonna have a long game versus allow the game flow to dictate how the story goes. You know, like if a particular passing formation, passing situations, if it's not working, go to your run game. Don't try to force it. Don't try to tell your story
Right.
with this
Right.
thing. You know, allow the game flow and just go. You know, go with the game flow. Make smart decisions. Don't turn the ball over. You know, but if you try to force it, you're in for a long day.
How much pressure is on the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, to bring home a championship for the AFC side of things? They lose. They're 0-3 in this Super Bowl battle between the NFC and the AFC right now. Is that pressure for the Ravens, or are we looking into it a little too much?
I don't look at it as pressure for the Baltimore Ravens, simply because they're one of those teams that show up and they don't succumb to the pressure. If it was the Jaguars, believe me, right now my hands would be leaking with sweat right now, and my back would be hurting because I know the whole, you know, I'm carrying the whole AFC, so I don't mind putting myself out there, throwing shots at myself. But I just don't see that particular coach himself. Coach Harbaugh has been around for a long time. He's won before. He's won multiple Super Bowls, so I don't see him. He doesn't care about the rest of the AFC, you know, and that's no shot to the rest of us. But, you know, he's focused on that one task, this one game.
All right, man. When you look at the quarterback matchup, you got the number 1 quarterback versus the number 2 quarterback in the league that we dubbed today. You also in the rushing game, Tyson Williams, 227 carries. This man averaging 8.3 yards a carry, 111.2 a game. But he raises his expectations in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he's somewhere between 160 yards a clip right now. Just in playoff, why did I leave there? I could do it from here. Just in playoff games alone, this guy is somewhere between 160 yards a game. Has he, you know, and again, the playoff games you watch, from the Cowboys game all the way to the NFC Championship, has he been the best player on the field for the Arizona Cardinals?
There have been times where I don't want to say the best player on the field for the whole game, but he's the guy that closes the doors on games.
Yeah, because he got 6 touchdowns in 3 games in the playoffs.
Right. So just when you think that you know, like you're in a game or you think you're back, this is the guy that comes in and closes the door in your face.
Right. I mean, this guy went from 15.5 yards a carry in the Cowboys game to the Giants, where he went down to a 5.6, which is still great. 2 rushing touchdowns, and then he goes back up against the Bucks and he carries the ball 9.3 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns. In these games, again, 215, 123, 202. I'm somewhere between 160 yards a game right now, and he's actually been more of the face of this team because he's also had 5 catches in the Cowboys game, and so a total of 7 catches for under 100 yards, but he still has been productive in the receiving game as well, at least against the Cowboys. And then you look at the receiver game, and honestly, all their numbers have dropped in the playoffs, but to me, they're playing smarter football. Where you seeing these guys, again, season stats, they go crazy in each game. When you go look at some of these games just coming from the bottom of week 1 on all the way up, you know, you're looking at somewhere between, you know, 5 to 6 catches a game out of these guys till you get to these playoffs. And you had wild card game, 1 for 12 yards for Sheldon. Really wasn't asked to do much. He did step up against the Giants, 5 catches, 108. That looked like one of his regular season days. 2 touchdowns, 3 catches, 64 yards against the Bucks with 2 touchdowns. Now, I would say, you know, he been playing regular season football in these playoffs. I thought the numbers were really not the same, but they're not that far off right now. I mean, he's another person who produced 4 touchdowns in the playoffs right now. And over here on Rondell Moore, I can see Isabella. We're gonna look at all their numbers real fast, just the playoff games, and see how they've been performing in the playoffs to be able to say, are the Cardinals gonna have to be a, you know, run first team this today, or they can come out and play the football they always play. And you come out with 3 catches and 39 yards, 2 touchdowns. After that, it was just 4 catches, 95 yards. Moved the chains a little bit. No catches against the Bucks whatsoever. With Isabella, do you feel like that could be a problem against the Ravens if he doesn't produce for them?
I already notated what the problem for this offense is going to be. I already mentioned the one advantage that the Cardinals had, and that was their average speed of their wide receivers. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to mention the one obvious advantage that the Baltimore Ravens have, and I can just go back to the Bucks game. the Cardinals struggled, and I say struggled with containing Vita Vea. It didn't matter. They threw double teams at this man. This man was still splitting double teams and getting into the backfield. The difference was when he got into the backfield, he just missed the handoff, and Tyson Williams was actually able to get by him and then get to a second level, and then in one particular play, then he was able to take it to the crib. He made a house call.
And it's crazy because not too many people dig into the stats and numbers like that. That's why we fuck with you guys. Just want to put the full clip on these guys all the time, because that is very, very good analysts, and that's good understanding your facts and getting shit together, because that's important right now, because the Cardinals have the young offensive line that's really not ready for this moment, but because their offense is so fast at getting the ball out and doing certain things, that they mask the fact that they don't have a good offensive line right now.
Mm-hmm. And my notes were, if they can't stop Vita Vea, what are they going to do with this Baltimore Ravens, defensive line?
I mean, Ted Saragusa was second to Adolphe Owe with tackles for losses, where he's not only getting in the backfield, he's actually making the plays, and he's done it somewhere between 24 and 28 times. So we're gonna go look at that stat real fast and show what he's doing and what type of double teaming. Is it any different between those games that he played against the Giants and the Bucks, having the double team D tackles? Can he get away with the double teaming over here with the pass rush of the Baltimore Ravens? They are number one in the league when it comes down to sacking a quarterback. They're number one in the league when it comes down to interceptions. So Vita Vea, as good as he is, as great as he's been since last year's playoff, he kind of turned it up a little bit for him. We're looking at Saragusa. This defensive tackle has 81 tackles on the year, 24 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks from the defensive tackle position. And again, you mentioned it. If they can't win that battle right there, that can cause problems for the Cardinals offense in this Super Bowl game right now, man. And again, they got a bunch of guys that have double-digit tackle for losses. Adolphe Owe 26, 19 from Hammer, and then Taz Surratt at middle linebacker has 10 tackles for losses. So they do get in the backfield, and they do make things happen when they are in the backfield. When I look at this team, I look at the offensive line and the run games. When you're taking out the Baltimore Ravens, they come into this game with the number one rushing attack, and they do it between mainly two players in a backup running back and Cannon Man, who had half a man this year, only 5 rushing touchdowns off of 78 carries, but Lamar 931 and Casey Fields 2,057 yards out of their running backs right now. So the 3 backfield people in their backfield right now. Are you comfortable with the Arizona Cardinals and their run defense versus the number one rushing attack?
I think the Cardinals, they still have guys that can disrupt, that can be disruptive, but I don't know how disruptive they can be. That's my only concern, because if
this is how important, not to cut you off, my bad, but real talk, so I can let these guys know, hold your thought, make sure you keep it. This is how important it is. In the Bucks game, they planned on one of the best rushing attacks in the game with Ronald Jones. What they did was, they watched the show, they participated in the show, they was able to get a superstar in a +10. Well, that superstar went on a D tackle that was good, but wasn't ability good to be able to disrupt good offensive line, and he was able to now move J.J. Watt all over that defensive line because they got a D tackle that got inside stuff sitting on him in the middle. So that's how good I tell y'all to be watching these shows, because one gift can change your outcome of what goes on your team if you're just participating in a very active league. Simple as that. Now back to your conversation. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. So the thing that they're going to have to decide is, are they going to, are they going to stunt their defensive line to maybe try to confuse the offense, or are they going to pinch? Because if they're doing these things to stop the run, then you're leaving yourself open for RPOs and option plays. So they're really going to have to do a good job of mixing up their defensive fronts, their defensive looks. You know, adding the young kid, moving JJ that's out to the outside, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It worked great against the Buccaneers. But now when you're going up against Lamar Jackson, can JJ get off that block and stopping Lamar Jackson from possibly escaping the pocket and going outside, you know, when he don't have the speed that he used to have. So now some of the things that can help you in one game can be a deterrent in the next game, you know, just, you know, depending on your opponent. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these front lines perform against, you know, against some of these, you know, when we see these battle of the trenches.
Right.
You know, I really want to see how that's going to end up, because you got that Arizona Cardinals team with that young, you know, that young front line, you know, and you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, that front line gave up more penetration than you know, Nano's favorite porn star.
There go the bars. There we go. All right, so Jeremiah Cumberland in his second season, we watched him go up to an X Factor at the end of last year on his way to the Super Bowl, where he played a big role in that Super Bowl. 18 sacks. J.J. Watt, 14 and a half as one of the old veterans of the league. Vicky D's production went down to 8, but again, you're looking at superstars across that D line with abilities right now, are going up against a young Baltimore Ravens offensive line. Baltimore Ravens offensive line is big, physical, and very athletic. These guys can run. They get to the second level, and they really manhandle guys in the run game right now. Do you think they have the type of offensive line in this game that can push, you know, this defensive line around for the Arizona Cardinals to be able to successfully run the ball the way they want to?
I don't think that this is a defensive line that they have to do that. What they want to do is, what they should do is use their athleticism. They don't have to run out there and be a bully, because you got to remember that, you know they got a good defensive front, but at certain spots, you know, they're a little bit older at certain spots, so you don't know how that reaction is going to be. So getting to the second level is going to be more important than just pushing around that defensive line, because you have a running back that, even if, you know, some of these guys get through, he makes guys miss. So what you want to do is you want to definitely make sure that you engage your block, do your blocking assignment, but then disengage that block and then get to the second level, because when you have a Reed and when you have a Lamar, you definitely want to be at the second level, because they can make those first guys miss.
This is a game where you're going to have offense and defense. You have to have all 11 guys on the field do their job. And if they do their job as a unit, I think this is a team effort win from both teams right now. But we know football, you know, football does have its moments of people that's individually standing out right now. When you look at the Arizona Cardinals, who has to be that standout offensively first?
Offensively, it's going to start with their quarterback. You know, because he's got to make sure that if the center, if you don't have a good offensive line, your center is supposed to be your second quarterback on the field,
right,
as far as calling out the coverages. So if there's no confidence, or if he's not experienced enough to do that, then it's going to be up to Kyler Murray to call out the defense, to call out the coverages, be able to identify the blitz, because a lot of stuff that they do, you know, they do have their check downs. You know, they do have wide receivers, or they have personnel that's running on all different levels, but some of those routes, they take time to develop. So if they don't call out the right coverages, or the right you know, and pick up blitzes when there are blitzes, or be able to hold their blocks, then they're going to lose a lot of those deeper routes, and then it's going to be, you know, down to your check downs, which could be you know, a type of rhythm that the Arizona Cardinals don't like.
No doubt. On defense, who you see as the Cardinals player that need to, you know, have a lights out game individually?
It's gonna be. I'm sure they're gonna have Isaiah watching Lamar Jackson. So I think it'll be up to him to really, because I thought that He would be the one that will probably cover, Baltimore Ravens also have a big athletic tight end. But it seems like they are fine with putting their, in certain coverages, having their corners, go one-on-one with the tight ends down the field, which could have Justin Simmons doing a semi-spy with Lamar Jackson just to see what they're doing as far as RPOs and see what they're doing on offense. So I think identifying Lamar Jackson with Justin Simmons and possibly spying him would be the key on.
No doubt, no doubt. When it comes down to the Baltimore Ravens, same question. Offensively, is there a player that you need to see have an individual game that that wills them to a Super Bowl?
It's going to be Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Because I think Lamar Jackson is the Baltimore Ravens. And when I say that is when he's running the RPOs, knowing when to let the running back keep the ball, knowing when to kind of fake it, pull it out, and then take it out and run with it. There's been times when, he would keep the ball himself and run with it. When if he would let the running back keep the ball with that handoff, it would have done a lot more than what he done. So it's just recognizing and just knowing that when you go with certain plays and not forcing passes, because he can make the first, second, third guy miss. So when something is not there, don't try to force it. Still stay within your offense, stay within yourself, and take the sack, or either pull it down and run with it for yards instead of trying to force things.
No doubt. And that same question goes to the defensive side for the Baltimore Ravens.
On the defensive side, it's going to be similar with Arizona Cardinals. So it's going to start with Mr. Baltimore. I think the key on defense is going to be Steiner. Steiner just being able to spy and see what Kyler Murray is doing on offense, and also being able to screen down. If Tyson Williams is able to get past the first level and come down and assist his linebackers with tackles. But also being able to hopefully not getting caught looking in the backfield and preventing those ooh babies that we know the Cardinals do like to take shots.
Yes, sir.
So I think Mr. Baltimore is the key on defense.
Well, the Arizona Cardinals are they do a lot, right? Their offense is their offense, but what they do is they bring out those plus plays, we call it, plays where you don't really expect them to be doing it, but they come out and do it. Where they'll run the ball on 3rd and 8 or more in a playoff game, or they the jet sweep things, the bubble screens, those type of plays. Will come out in this game for sure, because this is the things that they do. Those plays, those off-brand plays that you don't expect them to be doing, that they do, that become plus plays for them, big-time plays for you. How important is it for Baltimore Ravens to be prepared and ready for those type of plays?
Extremely important, because if you're prepared for those plays and you're actually able to I don't even want to say make interceptions off those plays, because if the front line is doing their job for what I expect, they're going to be the linebackers are going to have opportunities, and the corners, the secondary period, will have opportunities to maybe get interceptions off throw out of sacks, because if Kyler Murray has to wait for a route to develop and the flats are taken, so some of those checkdowns are taken away, you could actually force, Kyler Murray to maybe, bottom line, you can't throw as many interceptions in your first couple of seasons as Peyton Manning and just always be on the straight and narrow. The Baltimore defense has an opportunity to maybe get Kyler to revert to his old ways, and that's forcing things and making mistakes. And you force, 2 or 3 turnovers versus Baltimore, like I said, next thing you know, you're down by 3 scores.
All right, our debate segment. Here we go. Number 3. Number 1 offense versus number 2 offense in this game. Offensively, right? Who will be successful being who they are versus who got to change up? So I'll ask you. The Baltimore Ravens come in. They're mainly known as a run team, and the Cardinals come in as a pass team. Can they be successful? Which team could be successful doing what they do?
Baltimore's obviously they're going to be successful running their football. Um, they're going to be who they are. It's just how dangerous or how much damage will you allow that running game to inflict on you, and then just when you think that you may have a handle on that, next thing you allow one of those receivers to get behind you for ooh baby. So I expect the Baltimore Raven running game offensively to be extremely difficult to stop.
It's almost like an unfair question because playoff moments, big games, the run game is available, especially with this disc. But then you got the Cardinals who came in throwing the football all over the park, right? Anybody play, I would think they will be the team that will have to not have to. I'm not saying they can't do what they do to be successful, but I would think they will have to follow their playoff formula, which is they will have to feature that run game. So in my opinion, that would be a change up. I would think they will be the team that will be more adapted to having to change up and do some things that they rather not do. In the regular season, which is they want to open up, spread you out, tear your ass up and down that field.
Well, the only reason why I didn't pick that is because I don't think that the running game is going to be successful against this front line. So I don't think that option of running the football and being extremely successful running the football is not going to be there for them because of the weakness of that offensive line. I think what they're going to try to do is, and I know they're glad that they're playing in Las Vegas because basically they're playing on carpet, so they'll be able to play fast, get the ball out fast, because I don't think that running game is going to be available like that.
Right, and what I do know is this: when you think about that run game, first of all, you go back to how stressful the passing game is on any team that they play, to be able to have to try to stop both passing and running. And if they do feature the run game, I just think Kyler Murray can play a big role in that run game because he can keep the chains moving. Because you have to spend a lot of resource on stopping the pass, then trying to stop the running back in their backfield. And what happens when you have to worry about the passing game and Kyler Murray is taking off, and they have to resort to having somebody spy Kyler Murray to stop him from running the football as well. So I do think that will be an important part of the Arizona's offense for them to bring that furious part out and run the football, and through different ways, through running the running back out of shotgun and lining up and running traditional runs versus Kyler Murray dropping back in the pass situation and taking off and getting the first down. So I think it's very important.
If the Cardinals force the Ravens into a spy situation, that's a victory for the offense because that's one less player that you have with a defensive assignment that's back there with his brethren. So if they can force the Baltimore Ravens to all of a sudden become a spy, which I don't think they'll have to because I think they'll contain the quarterback. And like I said, I don't think that their linebackers will be watching Kyler. Like I said, I think Steiner will come up. Make some calls, make some different adjustments because he does have the dot on his helmet. That's one of the reasons why they call him Mr. Baltimore. And I think that they'll be in a position where they won't have to surrender a player to a spy. And I think that's what's going to assist the Baltimore Ravens to play a better game than when these teams matched up last year.
I agree, man. So I'll disagree to agree with you right now. There's too much of a debate not there for me to be trying to debate you for you to be 4-1. Oh my God, versus 3-1 right now. But we do have a new segment to clean up the last the parts of our show today, and let's talk about it. So talk about what it takes to get to this moment, Super Bowl Sunday, and your pick on who's going to win. This is your segment. This is a Super Bowl edition segment for you to close it out because we are playing in this game, so we can't predict who we think going to win in this game, and we have to know we want to win this game. So again, the gun's fully loaded. Let's go. Talk about it.
Okay.
Let's go.
I had to bring my little intro music in there. So this is what I see from this matchup. This is going to be one of the more exciting games because first of all you got a Baltimore Ravens team that's breathing a sigh of relief because they had to get a snowplow just to get out of the playoffs. And to finally not have to play in the elements, to play in the dome, And let's no bones about it. They are salivating looking at this offensive line that they're playing. They're playing against the Cardinals. So I think
Let's
this
go take a
year,
look at it while you talk about it. Their Cardinals offensive line.
this particular team, they're older, they're more mature. They now have played over 40 games, in 2 seasons. So the experience is there. And that game last season, I know, pre-pause, that left a nasty taste in their mouth.
Yes,
So
sir.
they've been looking forward to this matchup ever since they punched their ticket to get to this game, and then they also saw who they were going to be playing. So it's not a team that looks forward, but they were able to because they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this team. I don't know if the coach brought out the old footage of last year's game or not, just to remind them of what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we have one of the and this year or last year, excuse me, this defense was just the way that I was describing the Arizona Cardinals offensive line this year. They were young. They they look lost at times in that game, and I'm just being real. They were out of place at certain times. The offense was calling. Steiner wasn't picking up on the offense as fast as he needed to be because he had to run up, and there was a lot of times he had to go screaming back to get in position, and that cost them, on a few plays where they needed him to be back in position, but he had to go up and change the defensive call at the last minute. He made a call, went back, saw something different, ran screaming down again to change the call, and then had to go running back, and he got called a couple of times running back. So I think this team this year has identified, the play calling, and I really think that now with a more mature defense, now we will actually see more of a good game versus these fast receivers. And for the Arizona Cardinals, hey, I know there's a part of them that says, hey, all we got to do is play like we played last time, play our game. They come out, they hit on all cylinders. So for those kids, and I hate to refer to the Ravens defense as kids, but I know they're looking at it like, hey, these kids got to prove that they can hang with us.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kyler's looking at the offensive line like, look, I know what's coming. I just need y'all to hold up. Just give me more than 3 seconds. If you give me 3 seconds, I can make, we got a chance. If you give me 5 seconds, we can win this game. So I know that he's talking to his offensive line and saying, hey, I need you guys to bail me. I don't, and just give me a little bit of time. So right now, that Baltimore Ravens defense is going to have to prove to their offense, because it's the same guys. They basically, ran it back. There's not a lot of new additions. So I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to this matchup tonight.
Man, so I would say, man, the Arizona Cardinals backfield is the old Baltimore's backfield. Tyson Williams, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill are all over here from the Baltimore Ravens team, over here ready for a playoff game right now. I mean, Super Bowl game right now, where they playing up against their old team. Tyson kind of went crazy last year on the Baltimore Ravens, and he was quoted saying they're going to pay for trading me every chance they get, and we play this team, they're going to pay for trading us right now.
And then the coach gave all 3 players a game ball after they won the Super Bowl last year. And Baltimore Ravens players stood in the tunnels and watched. They didn't go back to the locker room. Lamar brought the team out, kept them out in the tunnel, and he made all of them watch.
Was Jim Harbaugh preparing for this game again, doing that though? Because I remember that too, where he made them watch completely the celebration, and made them watch, those players and how they felt, and interviews they had. Best decision a coach could have did was send me to a Super Bowl winning team, and it's just the conversation and all that. And he made them all sit through that and really sit there and soak in that moment to not feel that way again after the confetti fell last year for the Arizona Cardinals.
Absolutely, but the media picked up on the team in the tunnel last year, and they thought that the coaching staff sent that back out there. But what we found out was what happened was Lamar went in there and told everybody to get out and go into the tunnel, and the entire team and coaching staff followed suit because he wanted them to watch because he did not want that was a feeling he never wanted to feel again.
Man, and that goes to show you what type of leader he is as a player right now, man. He's different. But these two teams match up, man. It's nothing on these two teams that you can't line up and be comfortable with. I really can't wait to watch the front seven versus the front five in the backfield of the Arizona Cardinals versus the front seven defense of the Baltimore Ravens. That matchup is going to be there. Then we see some individual matchups with the receivers and DBs, man. You're going to see it in Collar coming out telling Lamar, I am who I am, boy, and Lamar like, chill out, cuz I am who I am. This is going to be all over the place, man. This is going to be a fun game at 10 o'clock tonight. Boy, I mean fun to the point where I want to play this game. I'm comfortable. I want to get into this game because I stopped the whole off season for me to sit and prepare, and I'm preparing for one of the best coaches of all time in our league. So got to get to work, you know what I'm saying? That's why you're not seeing this show drag out for 2 hours and only an hour that we gave y'all today, right? So we out of here. And hits the franchise guru and guns, fully clipped, loaded gun. Always doing what we do. No real debate. We kind of was in agreements there, so we'll let him just be 3-1 for the night. Yeah, we're out at you.
Your baby mama's favorite co-host.
3 and wiggity.